Hi, this is Coralla at CorallaFicklin.com. Welcome Network, WYLCOME Network.com, iStudyGuides.com, and or Explain.com. Explain is ASKPLAIN.com. And now I've been talking about one of the books that I wrote, and this other one. When I say write, I mean what I've done is I've compiled, or I've gotten to done research and investigated and put together expressions. I mean, I didn't write these expressions. These aren't my expressions, but they're expressions that I put together because one of my hobbies, and it's kind of embarrassing to admit, is to read dictionaries, and not just American dictionaries, not just Webster, which is basically American English, but dictionaries of everything. I love medical dictionaries, and I love law dictionaries, because medical dictionaries are a lot of Latin. If you want to see Latin in English, and you want to find out the different words in English, different words, because for example, most of the exterior part of the body, the hands, the head, the eyes, all that comes from the Germanic part of English. But in the medical world, they don't use a Germanic part. They take those same, the head, the eyes, and then they give it a Latin word. So if you want to find out what is the Latin prefix for very common words in English, for example, especially of the body, read a medical dictionary, and you'd be surprised how much French, because don't forget, at one time the French controlled the English after 1066 for about 3 or 4 centuries, maybe not that many centuries, 2 or 3 centuries, especially in the area of law. How much French is in English? Get a law dictionary. Very interesting, very interesting. But anyway, so what I decided to do was to put together important expressions or phrases that might be of help, that you can get very quick, and it's called 300 plus expressions in British, Australian, and American English. I never remember the title of the things the books that I've got together, investigated, put together, wrote, whatever. Alright, so it's called 300 plus expressions in British, Australian, and American English. Now when I'm looking over here, as I've said in my other videos, I'm looking right at the website itself. So let me give you some expressions or phrases that we use a lot in English that you can pick up really quickly and learn, but you normally don't pick up in a language class. If you live in the country, you pick it up, but I don't know if you always pick up the meaning. And it's called Explanations, Meanings, and Synonyms. That is, 300 plus expressions, and what I give you are either explanations and or explanation, meanings, and synonyms. Okay, so for example, let me just give you an example. A bit. There it is, a bit. Do you know what a bit means? It's an expression, or it's a phrase, I should say, maybe not expression, a phrase. Or how about this? Across the board. If something is across the board, what do I mean? Or how about the verb to act up? So I'm not giving you any type of context or anything, because a lot of you speak enough English that if you give it context, you'll understand. But how about if you just saw the word to act up, or to make one's blood boil? To make one's blood boil. Let me give you one more so you can see what I'm talking about. To bleed someone dry. To bleed someone dry. Now, like the book what is it? Understanding and speaking metaphoric English, or understanding and speaking English metaphorically. You know, you can't look at these words and then look up each word and deal with its literal meaning. All of this is looking at English from a much more metaphorical or figurative versus literal meaning. So let's go back. Let's go back up, because I'm going to go back up. That's what I'm doing. I'm going back up, up. These are in cards rather than in a book form. These are in cards, so you can look at them, you can make copies of them, and take them with you. Let me tell you one good way of learning something. Take about 2 or 3 with you in a day, while you're doing your work, or while you're going walking to school, or walking to work, or riding, or whatever, and memorize them, because these are expressions that you have to memorize, because otherwise it makes no sense. Okay, so if I say a bit, here's the explanation or synonym or whatever that I give you. A very small amount, not very much. I'll take a bit. And a lot of times you'll see them, you know, we'll do this, a bit. Okay, which means not a very large amount, just some, just a little bit, a taste, a bit, a taste. If you're talking about food, for example, I just had a taste. Like if the police stop you because you're driving drunk, and you say to the police, I didn't drink that much, I only had a little bit, a bit. I just had a taste. Enough to get you drunk. All right, if I say across the board, everything and everyone included. Okay, this is across the board. This is everyone. I'm not making any exceptions to the rule. Across the board. If I say to act up, means to behave badly. There's a group in the United States, I think it's still okay, came out after it came out in the 80s, and it's called Act Up. And it's a group that is in your face, that lets you know that they're here, and it's dealing with AIDS and HIV, right? Because people say, oh, don't act up, you know, be quiet. You know, they'll tell, especially they tell girls and women, be quiet, don't, you know, call attention to yourself. And some people say, act up. What is it? The squeaky wheel gets the oil, right? That is, if you don't make any noise, no one will ever know that you existed. And it's true. And it's true. I know, for example, if you want to look up your ancestry, correct? If you had ancestors who were good, especially if you come from the peasant class or the lower classes, unless you had someone who acted up, who decided to go against the norm, he just becomes part of history and you never hear about him. But someone who acted up, they become part of history. All right, let me see, my time is running out, so let me give you the other meaning. If someone makes your blood boil, or if you say he makes my blood boil, that means he makes me very, very angry. Okay? More vulgar, not so vulgar that you can't say, but you definitely have to be careful. Or you can say he pissed me off. He makes my blood boil. He pissed me off. He makes me very angry. He makes me so mad I could scream. Okay. You can see a lot of synonyms for that one. All right, let me see. I got a little bit more time. To bleed someone dry is to take everything that someone has. If you bleed your mother or your father dry, or you bleed your husband or your wife dry, that means you take everything that person has, all his money. Okay, it's basically you're talking about money. Okay, and let me give you, okay, which is a little bit different to take someone to the cleaners, to the cleaner. When you take someone to the cleaner, and let me give you the expression, let me give you what I have here, and then I'll give you a little bit more. To take everything that someone has as a result of winning a legal proceeding. So if a woman says, or if a man says, they're married to someone who's rich, if a man says or a woman says, I'm going to take her to the cleaners, that means you are going to get as much money from that divorce proceeding as possible. Okay, at the end, we'll be back maybe looking at other kinds of expressions or continue looking at these expressions. So be back. Thank you.